Good crowds here. I like going to cultural things. Sometimes I feel weird when I go to big cultural events because I feel like, I'm a comedian. I'm terrible with computers. I don't feel like I live up to all my parents and their friends' expectations sometimes, Like I was at my sister's wedding a few months back. Every 2 minutes, one of my uncles would come up to me and be like, "So, when is it going to be your turn, huh? When are you going to find that special somebody, huh?" Because that's what brown people do when they're excited, right? Smiley head bob every night and excited. But I found a way to end the conversation like that. Last time, one of them came up to me, asked when I'm going to find that special somebody. I just looked at him. I said, "You know what? I just keep looking and hoping and praying, and I can tell one day real soon, I'm going to find him." His head just stopped, dude. Whenever I tell my mom I'm going to do that joke, she's like, "Don't say that." So I'm single and straight, ladies. In case there's any confusion, don't let the eyebrows fool you. You know what I'm saying? Did someone just yell "Astaghfirullah"? What was that? That just happened. That's like one of my comedy nightmares, to do a joke in front of a bunch of aunties and uncles and someone just goes "Astaghfirullah." Is it happening? It's funny, dude. It's funny, like we've had to deal with a lot of misconceptions as Muslims in America and Pakistanis, I've had to deal with some weird stuff, even though I was born and raised here, People say dumb stuff to me all the time. They're like, "Oh, Faraz, you're Pakistani, you're Muslim, doesn't that mean you hate Jews?" And I'm like, what kind of ignorance is that? No, it means my grandfather hates Jews. Alright, relax. You guys can't tighten up on me that early. You gotta loosen up. It's gonna be that kind of night. So where we're going. Have a sense of humor. God has a sense of humor. I know God has a sense of humor because he gave me, I got eczema. Don't worry, it's not a weird, deadly disease. I just get, rashes from this eczema. And I just get eczema in my armpits. I just get eczema in my armpits and just from using grooming products. So God has a sense of humor if he decided to make a hairy Pakistani guy allergic to deodorant. And this is what I live with. Super messed up. We're obviously very different here. We've had to integrate, deal with everybody in this country. A lot of integration here. I think that's awesome. People in other countries, they're very segregated a lot of times, right? Like lots of Pakistanis only hang out with Pakistanis, a lot of Indians only hang out with other Indians, Sikhs with other Sikhs. But in America, we're all integrated, and I think that's awesome, I have a lot of Sikh friends myself. I think every Pakistani man should have a number of Sikh friends with him all the time, actually. Because at some point, a bunch of ignorant racists might come around looking to beat up Muslims, and those Sikhs make great distractions. Is that going to be the running joke? That's funny. All night? Alright, cool. Sounds good, man. I wasn't sure I was going to do that one, but you guys seem cool. I'm so excited to go for it. I think it's funny to observe cultures in different places. Costco is one of my favorite places to go because you see how people from all over the world interact with each other, right? Like how they take samples. Because with Pakistani people, we're very specific with food. We feed you even if you don't want it. We'll shove it in your face. You know what I mean? Other people, white people are a little more proper with it. So when white people take samples at Costco, they're always acting like they've never seen the product before. They're like, "What's this called? Pizza? What is that? Cheese and bread? Golly! I'll have to get some of that later." You know what I mean? Pakistani people keep it real. They show up "Oh, what is it? Free pizza? Can my kids have some?" Okay, 1 second. Habib, Aisha, Mohsen, Sohail, Hassan, Neda, Nadia, Ali, Oli, Omar, Homa, Faraz, Ayaz, Niyaz, Nawaz, Riyad, Rihad, Ahad, free pizza, jaldi karo, mufti jail, line mein lag jao. Just absorb it. Sleep was giving me problems. We like deals though, that's our thing, right? We'll do everything if it's a deal, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'll go to one time I went car shopping with an uncle and I was like, "What car do you want?" He's like, "I don't know, I just want a deal." That's all he cared about, dude. I'm still scarred from going to fabric stores with my aunties when I visited Karachi when I was younger, because women, you guys will bargain for 9 hours. Like, that is their sport. They love it. You know what I mean? Like, they're just fighting for, like, that last rupee. I was in some fabric store in Karachi for so long with my aunt and my auntie, and then we were leaving and she was like, it was worth it. I said, we were there for 4 hours. She was like, it was worth it. And I saved 300 rupees. I was like, oh, is that a lot? I was little. I was like, is that a lot? 300 rupees? She's like, $4. I was like, $4? 3 hours? That's not even minimum wage. Another time, one of my cousins was visiting from Pakistan. We were at this diner having a burger, and he asked the waitress, he was like, how is the burger? And she was like, oh, it's good, you know, it comes with it's a thick piece of meat, there's lettuce, tomatoes, it's $12. He's like, okay, I'll give you 4. Let's have a deal. And she's like, no, we don't bargain over burgers. The burger's $12. He's like, okay, I'll give you 6 instead of 12. I'll only eat half. Come on, that's a deal. Embarrassing. So my dad's Pakistani. My mom's part of Afghani, so I'm Afghani and Pakistani. So when I go to the airport, I get randomly selected twice. I figured out how to beat the system though, guys. You gotta pay attention to this part, everybody. You wanna get through TSA, you wanna zip through the lines, fashion's the key. You gotta look good, alright? Because in TSA's eyes, fashion is the only thing separating me from Al-Qaeda, right? Like, we don't make the rules, we just gotta play ball at this point, right? Because if you see terrorists, they don't look like this. They look terrible, right? Hair's a mess. They don't read fashion magazines, they don't get them delivered to their caves. They don't get all excited once a month to run outside and check the mail rock. Like, Ahmed, January GQ? V-necks and skinny jeans on back, Habibi. That ain't happened. So I'm up here like this, I got on these tight jeans, I tweeze my eyebrows, I thread them, if you must know, ladies. Alright, because then I don't get problems at TSA. They're like, should we give that guy an advanced screening? Who, the guy with the eyebrows? What's he gonna hijack, a sale at Nordstrom's? Let this guy through. Everything's really different here, you know. Like, I think one thing that's interesting is we've done a good job of integrating into American culture. Pakistani people are, you know, doing well here. But we've also kept our identity, which is tough because there's so many things in the world that want to brainwash you into believing something else, into like to being a certain thing. Like there's messages all around you in marketing and music and everything else. You know what I mean? Like I remember they tried to program us as men and women too, from the earliest ages. Because obviously men and women are different. But they try to make us feel like we're more different than we need to be. Like even with marketing for toys. Like, you know, see, they got excited when I said it. They're like, toys? They just came running. Like, from the earliest ages, they're trying to program you. They're like, girls, here, take an easy bake oven, go cook something, you know? Boys, here's some guns, go kill something, you're gonna need it, right? I remember when I was 11 years old, some of you might remember this toy. Every girl came to school with this doll that they were like super crazy about. They're like, have you seen my new doll? She's like a real baby. I feed her 3 hours later, she pees, I clean it up, it's amazing. I'm like a real mommy. I was like, that's not amazing. Look, no guy in here was ever excited about a toy like that, right? You never got a call from one of your buddies when you were 12 years old, like, hey man, you seen the new G.I. Joe? He shits his pants. You gotta get the new Wolverine, he cries if you don't hold him. It's just Hugh Jackman crying. Testing you guys out still. This is good. Pretty good, you guys are hilarious. I keep getting like little pockets of support, like that was funny, pretty good, beta. Fantastic. I analyze a lot of stuff. I analyze a lot of laws. Like a lot of laws don't make sense to me. A lot of laws in this country are just like this blanket of rules and we just accept them. You know what I mean? But if you take a closer look at them, a lot of them are just really, really silly. Like I gotta talk about this. Yesterday I was late, I was driving to this meeting and I was eating something that took both hands, right? I'm eating cereal. You ever eaten like a bowl of cereal while you're driving with your knee? Like I can do this, I'm a professional. I pull up at a red light, so dangerous. A voice pulls up next to me, he's like, what are you doing down there? I look over, it's a cop. I was like, man, I'm done for, whatever, I deserve it. This is just so dangerous, right? I lift up the bowl of cereal, swear to God, the cop goes, oh, for a second I thought you were texting, and he just drove off. What? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm tired of like, people are in the People in America are going crazy over like this gluten-free stuff, like trying to eat organic, you know what I mean? Like Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Henry's. You guys eat at these places? Some of you, there's not enough white people here to clap, right? Like, white people love that stuff. They love organic food. I'm tired of these places because organic food is so expensive. Like, I went to Whole Foods. I didn't know I'd have to take out a loan to buy a freaking cucumber. Like, who's pricing this stuff? Every time I walk out of a Trader Joe's, I walk out with something I didn't even know existed 20 minutes earlier. And then they got me convinced it's essential for my survival. I'm like, well, I gotta get more kale now or I won't have enough iron for my blood and my children will die. My favorite part is the goofy guy working at the register. This guy's tried everything in the store, way too excited to give you his input on all of your purchases. He's like, see you got the Mediterranean hummus. Classic, bro. But you gotta try it with a gluten-free seaweed crisp. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the hell gluten is, but that stuff is always free. And nobody wants it. Some stuff doesn't make sense. You gotta take a closer look at it. Let's talk about some big issues, guys, all right? Sorry to get serious, but I'll talk about a serious issue. Don't you think it's weird you get a really big ticket if you park in the designated spot for a handicap?